Alright guys, this video we are looking at the Great Depression and the rise of Nazism. Okay, just another part of our standard for Unit 4. Okay, so let's dive in. Start with the Great Depression. We've all talked about this again, but let's look at it over. 1920s, industrial allied countries had great economic growth. Okay, they call it the Roaring Twenties actually during this time, and especially in the United States, just because things were just going so well. Okay, everybody was making money. People had jobs. New technologies were coming out, like the radio. That was a big deal. Okay, and just people really liked that stuff. They wanted to have a lot of it. Okay, but less than 10 years later, all that would come to an end, and people would all of a sudden become poor. Okay, the poverty rate would really skyrocket. If you don't know the word poverty means, that means to be poor. Okay, all right. It's another word for that. All right. So, what was the causes of the Great Depression? Well, you got to start with the stock market. Okay, stock market is an organization through which shares of the stock in companies are bought and sold. Basically, you can buy little pieces of a company. Okay, you want to buy stock in Coca-Cola right now, you can go out and do that. Okay, you want to buy stock in Apple, you can do that. Samsung, okay, any company that's gone public and sells parts of their company, you can buy that. All right. Now, that doesn't mean you own the company. It means you own a very, very, very small part of it. Okay. In the 1920s, many people invested their money in the stock market. The theory is to buy the stock when prices are low and then go ahead and sell them when they're high. So buy low, sell high, right? Think about it. If I buy a stock for 10 cents and that means it's really low, and it rises to $500 and I sell it then, I've made $500. And if I bought 20 stocks at 10 cents a piece and they went up to $500 each, I've made a ton of money, right? Okay, well, people are going to borrow money to buy stocks, but the stock prices begin to fall. The problem in how this is basically gambling is, think about it. If I buy a stock at $100 and all of a sudden that stock price plummets, it goes down to a penny, what have I done? I've lost money, right? Okay, I just lost $100 basically. Okay, that is what happened. People are going to borrow the money to buy the stocks, and then they lose that money and they can't pay it back. All right, other causes. So many people went to the banks to get their money because they didn't have it, and the money ran out. Again, we've talked about this before. Banks do not sell t-shirts in the lobby, guys. That's not how they make money. People have to put their money in the bank for them to have money. Okay? People didn't have any money, and they were bankrupt. In 1929, the stock market crashes. The Great Depression starts all over the world as wages fall. Banks close because they have no money. Businesses slowed or stopped, and people couldn't find jobs. Okay? If no one has any money, they can't pay people to have jobs. Many people didn't have enough money to buy food. So what are they going to do? Okay? What's the government, especially the United States, what are they going to do? Well, governments around the world try to erase the Depression by not importing goods. They really focused on stuff in their country and not buy from other countries. Okay? They felt like if we buy things from inside our own country, we can make more money for ourselves instead of spending money elsewhere. Okay? 1933 in the United States, Franklin Delano Roosevelt becomes the U.S. president. Okay? He creates what's called the New Deal, which is a program to end the Depression. It's a program to give people jobs. The government gave money to the states and created jobs to build buildings and roads. Okay? So the New Deal is something that FDR, who was the president at the time, comes up with, and it's a way to help people get jobs and make money. That way, if they make money, they can buy things. Okay? Okay, so they're trying to rebuild the economy at the time. All right, now, total change of subject. All right? We're not talking about the worldwide depression anymore. Now we're focused on the rise of Nazism in Germany. Not going to take long, real quick. Okay? All right? after World War I, many Germans believed they should not have signed the Treaty of Versailles. Okay? So what's going to happen? You're going to have a man named Adolf Hitler, we have his name right here, who comes in and says, I'm going to break the treaty that no one likes. I'm going to fix the economy because we know everybody's in a depression. I'm going to rebuild the military, and I'm also going to take back that land that they took from us in the Treaty of Versailles. Right? Everybody's like, yeah, let's do it. Okay? You're the man, right? Okay? People are liking what this guy's saying. They think he's right. Okay? He's using nationalism. He's blaming stuff on people that have nothing to do with anything. Okay? And he's convincing all these people in Germany that they're the best and that everyone is worse than them and that they've been done wrong by the Treaty of Versailles, that the Depression is not their fault, and that he's going to take back the country. Okay? So what happens? People believe him, people put him in power. Okay? He really puts himself in power because he ultimately is going to kill off his competition and just become the leader. Okay? All right? Nazis gain power, and in 1933, Hitler becomes dictator and establishes a police state. That means the police run everything and there are no freedoms. What's going to happen next? The Jews lose their civil liberties. That means all liberties that normal people have, they lose. Okay? We'll talk about that in a second when we get to the Holocaust. Then Hitler's going to begin rebuilding Germany's military, which we know breaks the Treaty of Versailles. Okay? Something that we haven't really talked about. Hitler is going to call his empire the Third Reich. Okay? All right? Really not too important, but just something you need to know. Okay? That his empire, every player he takes over in Europe, which we know that he's going to occupy different countries. We talked about that in Number of the Stars. Okay? Like Denmark. All right? He's going to call all that, his empire, the Third Reich. Okay? All right? So, let's stop it there. Okay? We're going to look at our questions. Okay? Our questions, they're going to be on the next slide of the Nearpod. So, after I go over these, you can click Next on the Nearpod, and you can answer these questions. All right? Make sure after you answer the questions, you're hitting Submit as well. All right? So, what do you remember about the Great Depression? Okay? I just talked about it. I want you to type out everything you remember from when I taught it originally and then when we went over it now. Next question says, name 3 reasons that contributed to the Great Depression in 1929. Why did the Great Depression start? Okay. Next question says, how do you think people felt living in the Great Depression? Do you feel this? Why do you think they felt this way? Okay. All right. Why do you feel this way? The next question says, what might have happened if Hitler was killed on the battlefield during World War I? A lot of us have watched the World Wars, and we've seen where the British man had a chance to shoot Hitler on the battlefield, but he did not. He chose not to. Okay? So, for one of the questions on the Nearpod, when you hit Next, is, how do you think that might have changed the world if he would have actually shot Hitler and killed him? How would that change everything? Okay? All right, I want you to type that out when you get to that question. Okay? All right?